Hello students, in today's video we will study about spinal nerves, spinal plexus and their functions. Now look at this figure, this is the spinal cord. Now spinal nerves arise from both the sides of spinal cord. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Now as we know, the spinal cord, it remains protected in a bony vertebral column. So these spinal nerves, they originate from the spinal cord and they pass through the intervertebral foramina. Now this intervertebral foramina is an opening or a hole that is formed by the adjacent vertebra. Now look at this figure. This is the TS of spinal cord. Now each spinal nerve is formed by the union of motor or anterior and sensory or posterior nerve root. Thus, spinal nerves are mixed nerves. Now, as you can see here, these spinal nerves, they are named and further they are grouped according to the vertebra with which they are associated. So, there are 8 cranial nerves, then 12 thoracic nerves, then 5 lumbar nerves, then 5 sacral nerves and 1 coccygeal nerve. So in total there are 31 spinal nerves and each spinal nerve exists in a pair. Now the first spinal nerve, C1, it passes between the occipital bone of head and above the first cervical vertebra, that is the atlas, and it is represented as C1. Then second spinal nerve represented as C2, it passes below the first cervical vertebra. Then third spinal nerve C3 passes below the second cervical vertebra. Then fourth spinal nerve, that is C4, it passes below the third cervical vertebra. Then likewise the 8th spinal nerve, it passes from below the last, that is the 7th cervical vertebra. Now since all these spinal nerves are associated with the cervical vertebrae, they are termed as cervical nerves and these nerves, they are grouped together. Similarly 12 thoracic, then 5 lumbar, 5 sacral and 1 coccygeal nerve. Now these nerves, they leave the vertebral canal below their respective vertebrae and pass to the different body structures they supply. So these spinal nerves, they are named and they are grouped according to the vertebra with which they are associated. So there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves and these spinal nerves are 8 cervical, C1 to C8, then 12 thoracic, T1 to T12, then 5 lumbar, that is L1 to L5, 5 sacral, that is S1 to S5 and 1 coccygeal, that is C0. So this is how spinal nerves are named and they are grouped. Now let's understand what is a spinal plexus. Now as you can see here, as the nerves emerge from the spinal cord, they form a network or they form a web that is called as the plexus. So spinal plexus is a network of spinal nerves. There are 5 large plexus of the spinal nerves and these are cervical plexus, which is formed by C1, C2, C3 and C4 spinal nerves. Then brachial plexus, which is formed by C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1 spinal nerves. Then lumbar plexus, which is formed by L1, L2, L3 and L4 spinal nerves. Then sacral plexus, that is formed by L4, L5, then S1, S2, S3 and S4 spinal nerves. Then coccygeal plexus, which is formed by S4, S5 and C0 spinal plexus. Now very important, now spinal nerves in a spinal plexus unite and they rearrange themselves. Now nerves that emerge out of these plexus, they supply different parts of the body. Now let's study about the spinal plexus. So look at this chart. Now first spinal plexus is the cervical plexus. It is formed by first four cervical nerves, namely C1, C2, C3 and C4. Now these nerves form a network, rearrange themselves, and the nerves that emerge out of this cervical plexus supply regions of the neck, head, some areas of the shoulders and chest. Now, main nerves originating from this cervical plexus are great auricular nerve. It supplies the skin on the sides of the head near the auricular region, that is near the ear region. Then transverse cervical nerve. This supplies skin in the front and on the sides of the neck. Then supraclavicular nerve. This nerve supplies the clavicle, shoulders and the front part of the chest. Then phrenic nerve, a very important nerve. This nerve supplies the muscle of respiration, that is the diaphragm. Then lesser occipital nerve. Now this nerve supplies skin at the back and sides of the neck and back of the head. So these are the main nerves of the cervical plexus. Then the next plexus is the brachial plexus. It is formed by the lower four cervical nerves, namely C5, C6, C7, C8 and the first thoracic nerve, that is the T1. Now nerves originating from this plexus supply chest, shoulders, arms and the hands. Now main nerves originating from this plexus are the axillary nerve. This nerve is also known as a circumflex nerve, then radial nerve, mucocutaneous nerve, then median nerve, then ulnar nerve. Now ulnar nerve is also known as the musician's nerve, as it controls the fine movements of the fingers. So these are the nerves of the brachial plexus. Then lumbar plexus. It is formed by first three, that is L1, L2 and L3 and part of the fourth lumbar plexus, that is L4. Now lumbar plexus supply muscles and skin in the back, abdomen, then groin, thighs, knees and calf region. Now the seven main nerves that emerge from the plexus are ilio-hypogastric nerve, ilio-inguinal nerve and genitofemoral nerve. Now all these three nerves, they supply the lower abdomen, thigh and inguinal, that is the groin region. Then other nerves are the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Then femoral nerve, this is the largest nerve of the lumbar plexus and it supplies the lower limb and it controls the major hip flexor and the knee extension muscles. Then obturator nerve, it innervates the thigh and it supplies the adductor muscle of the thigh. Then lumbosacral trunk. It is a collection of nerve fibers that supply skin and muscles of the sacral region, posterior thigh, then legs and the foot. So these are the nerves of the lumbar plexus. The next is the sacral plexus. It is formed by the lumbar L4, L5 and sacral S1, S2, S3 and S4 spinal nerves. And the nerves that emerge from this plexus are the sciatic nerve. Now sciatic nerve is the largest nerve in the body and it supplies muscles and skin of the pelvis, then buttocks, genitals, thighs, calves and the feet. Then another nerve that emerge out of the sacral plexus is the pudendal nerve and it supplies the anal and the urethral sphincters. Then next plexus is the coccygeal plexus. It is formed by the fourth and fifth sacral and the coccygeal nerve. Now coccygeal nerves emerge out of this coccygeal plexus and these nerves, they supply the skin around the coccyx and the anal area. So this is all about the spinal nerves and the spinal plexus. If you find the video useful, kindly like, subscribe and share this video. Thanks for watching this video.